Hey all, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Julie and I mostly make videos surrounding topics such as music, makeup, as well as mental health. Today's video, I don't know, as you can see, I'm filming on my webcam in a tank top with no bra because I don't care. But I saw that today was Pride Month, or the start of Pride Month rather, and I just really wish I could be excited about it and I could sit here and confidently speak on my affiliation with LGBTQ+, but unfortunately it brings up a lot for me. And I've been trying to avoid sitting down and making these kind of videos where I just break down and cry and I'm so vain and make it all about me. I mean, I guess that's my channel though, it's all about me. But I feel like I have no place to go, and that's what I need my channel for, and that's okay. I think something in me is screaming, hoping there's someone out there that will understand me, the real me, and accept me, and so that is pertinent to being LGBT. So before I get too emotional, I guess I'll just logically talk about what LGBT means to me. So not only do I identify as LGBTQ+, but I am also an LGBTQ+ affirming mental health provider. I don't have a fancy certification, I don't have a degree in gender studies, I self-identify that way because I myself live as LGBT openly and outwardly, and I want my clients to feel comfortable doing the same if they are in a privileged place, of course, to do so. And I have to tell you, out of all the clients I have, my LGBT are my favorite. That is my niche, that is my thing. I have found it. I have found that I am so fulfilled from working with that population that I learn so much from them about identity and social justice and sexuality, romantic things, romantic identity, I guess, and also gender identity and expression. And I learn a lot about how different aspects of things are intertwined. So, for example, in the autistic community, having a very gender identity or identifying as LGBT in some respect is, statistically speaking, significantly a higher population of the autistic community. They have cited, from what I've seen, that it's that they tend to defy social norms and don't care about them. And yeah, who cares about gender and social rules? I'm right there with you all, and I'm on my journey thinking I may also be autistic, so that makes a lot of sense. There's also a huge correlation between the autistic community, LGBT, and eating disorders, and even without autistic involved, LGBT and EDs are so intertwined. Think about gender identity and like the role of someone being androgynous and what that means in society, and how thinness is glamorized a lot of the time in a lot of communities because it's a big problem, but also in the LGBTQ+ community. And that can exacerbate eating disorders even more. So can gender dysphoria for a lot of gender diverse people. And we don't discuss that aspect and all of these intertwinings and overlapping aspects enough. But that's my clinical brain talking, because emotions are hard and I feel too many all at once all the time and can't make it stop. But I have plenty of videos on my gender identity, so if you're new here and you didn't know, I am non-binary as heck. I am specifically agender under the non-binary umbrella. Yes, I identify as trans because from what I have learned, trans is the big umbrella and then non-binary is a little umbrella underneath. I don't feel I'm stepping on anyone's parade. I'm really not trying to invalidate anyone. My friend did recently say being bisexual and non-binary are the most hated things in the LGBTQ+ community, and I do not have a reference to cite that, but it does seem that way because the purpose of being LGBT is to celebrate who you are and affirm who you are and be open to exploring it and either choosing a label or not, or just saying I'm queer or I'm gender diverse. You don't have to conform to anything, and sexuality and gender identity and all these aspects are fluid and they can change over time or at any time, and that still holds validity entirely, and comparisons just get in the way a lot of the time. And there are some incidents of hypocrisy in the LGBTQ+ community toward bisexual people and pansexual people, probably more specifically bisexual people, all the time. So I want to explain that as well. So my gender identity is out there in the world. Hey, I'm still presenting AFAB. I still have longish, like, hair that's emo-ish. Don't plan on changing it. Some days I want to present more, like, androgynous, I guess, than others, but it's not always a thing for me. I'm always non-binary. It does not change by the day. I always don't associate with gender. That's just me. I'm Jules. That's who I am. There's no gender. I hate it. Blah. If you say she, I feel sick. So please use my pronouns. They are they/them. Beyond this, so with romantic and sexuality and these affiliations, let's effing go. So I am biromantic, I guess technically pan-romantic, because I could be attracted romantically to anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter to me about a certain like look or something. I'm just open to the possibility that I could be attracted to anyone regardless of gender identity or expression. I've never said that. Just feels weird. Next, sexuality. This is a really tough one. So I've been bisexual since high school. I always knew I liked girls. I was confused about it, but once I kind of unraveled it and my other friends in middle and high school came out about it, it made sense. And I do have a video on my channel about coming out as bisexual. I have toyed with pansexuality, and I think the issue for me is that non-binary and trans like were a thing, but I didn't know enough about them and had my own gross weird biases that turned out like, haha, I'm non-binary. That's like all that was. That I was like, oh, what's that about? Like, oh, it's me. And I just wanted to deflect from it for a long time. But I'm open to everyone and anyone, I think, in that way too, even if I haven't experienced something yet. And I'm just comfortable with bisexual as a label, and bi means two or more. So it's not ruling out gender diverse people. That would be really rude in my opinion. And so I am not doing that, but I don't feel like changing my label because bisexual is how I've identified for a really long time, and I'm just comfy with that. So that is what I choose to identify by, but I'm probably not that different than someone who identifies as pansexual at this point. Beyond that, asexuality. So for a couple of years, probably like 2014 and on, I identified as gray asexual. So asexuality is on a spectrum, and people get really confused about asexuality, and they forget the little A and LGBTQIA plus and blah blah blah. They really freaking forget about it. And I've recently had some nice conversations with friends who have opened up about being ace or being on the spectrum, or have considered or questioned it at certain points, and it's an important conversation to have. You do not need to be disgusted or repulsed by sex to be asexual. That's not always what it is for people. It might be, but it's valid if it's not. It's valid if you're active or you have urges or you act on them or whatever you do. That is okay and that is normal, and this is just how you identify. And when you think about intimacy on that level, how much it matters to you, in my mind. Maybe I'm incorrect. I'm still learning and growing too, and I don't know everything. I really don't. But I still identify with the gray ace, and I have toyed around with it for years because I still have complex PTSD. I still have butt tons of unhealed trauma, and so I'm like, oh, maybe if my trauma was healed, then like it would be important to me and whatever. I don't think it is, and so this is a hard thing to admit because it makes it sound like I don't love my partner, and I love him so much and I'm so attracted to him, and you don't need to know about our life. But trust me, he's not missing out on anything, and I would never let that happen in a relationship with someone I love very much who valued that. I think that's important to, have that intimate experience. But when I think about what matters to me, like intimacy, I think about holding hands, kissing, maybe making out without tongue. It can be like weird. I don't know, just like the really like innocent per se things are more important to me. Words of affirmation are a big, wow, those feel more intimate than anything. Someone, even as a friend, like who loves me, really captivating me with words, like that makes a huge difference to me. So yeah, I mean, I don't feel like sitting down and making a whole video on why I'm ace and to get invalidated about yet another thing in my life. But yeah, I heavily identify with being LGBTQ+, and I am so proud of myself for being fully non-binary and out at my job. I feel like it's attracted clients who are gender diverse or LGBT, and like I said, that's my favorite population, so I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to work with those clients. I'm honored that they feel safe with me, and I'm so happy to have them. And I've really been thinking about my career and thinking about one day that maybe I'll have just like a whole caseload of LGBTQ+ cases, and that would be so wonderful. I value having those kind of fulfilling conversations with clients about identity, just anything about identity in general. Even, am I more introverted? Am I extroverted? Do I even care about those labels? Am I just me? What's my style? Like, identity work is so valuable and so important, and I feel like it's so grossly neglected in our field, and we just come in and pathologize people and say like, oh, you're so disordered about X, Y, and Z, and it's just, like I said in my last video, it just strips people of their identity, and it really hurts. So beyond that, I wish I could say, oh, I have like so much pride. I'm working on it. I'm working on being proud of who I am. I'm proud of all my friends who are celebrating Pride right now, and I'm proud to know so many LGBTQ plus identifying people, and I'm glad that, I guess it makes sense why I've gravitated toward all of these people as well, because I feel safe with other LGBTQ plus people, not every single one of them, but sometimes it ends up working out that way, and it's really important to me and valuable to have a sense of community and a sense of belonging, even if as a whole, generally the community itself isn't always as affirming and belonging as it could potentially be. But people are people, so there's not much you can do about it. And I just wanted to sit down and talk about this and talk about how mental health is really, really important in the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm understanding a lot of my mental health stuff has to do with that. My gender identity, sexuality, nothing was ever questioned or explored in counseling, and I feel like even when I told clinicians I was bisexual, like in an intake, they were like, okay, but I was always dating a guy, so it barely ever came up, or when it did, I just spoke of my shame with relationships with girls and things like that, because I've never officially dated a girl or gender diverse human being, just cis men, unfortunately. Sorry. And, you know, sometimes I think about that. Honestly, I love my partner very much. I would never, ever leave him. I'm very happy with him, but I do think about, wow, I never lived that side of myself. I never explored it. I never settled down, dated anyone, was intimate with anyone with different parts, and what would that be like? Would I be happier? I have thought about that. I'm going to be honest about that too. That's really awkward and uncomfortable, but I hope that no one takes that as I don't love my partner any less and I'm not going anywhere, but it's just kind of a contemplation thing. And I think who people are is beautiful and wonderful, and it matters so much. So if any of your friends come out this month because they feel safer to do so, please affirm that. Please don't question them. Please don't invalidate it. And just be kind, because a lot of us are living with trauma, and untreated trauma at that. I was just on the phone with someone trying to get trauma treatment. I actually put myself out there, and they're like, I don't do virtual. So I told someone my life story for 18 minutes that didn't need to hear it and can't see me, which is so fun. And that's why I was like, I have to sit down and do this video, because I don't have any mental health treatment as a mental health provider, and that's super cool. So this is my mental health treatment. I am figuring myself out while we are all on a journey together, figuring ourselves out. And I just want to be open. I just want to share. I want to speak, and I want to process. And that helps me to grow and radically accept myself, even if it's not how I expected that I would be one day. So that is my rant. That is it. Happy Pride Month. I love you very much, from your favorite genderless, emo human being in a braless tank top, because bras are so freaking uncomfortable, and I hate them, and I hate bodies in general. Not body shaming your body, just mine. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel as well. You can follow me on Instagram, but maybe not. I don't know. It's Julie_counseling. Up to you. And my Facebook page will be linked down below in the description box too. And I will catch you on the flip side. Happy Pride Month, y'all. Later.